Once upon a time, in the bustling city of Kumasi, where the vibrant colors of the market mix with the sound of city life, lived Kofi, the wealthiest man in Kumasi. As he sat on his ornate veranda, overlooking his vast estate, he thought of how life had been kind to him. His business ventures flourished, and his influence was unmatched. However, a shadow of doubt loomed over his heart. Kofi has a beautiful, stunning girlfriend named Amma, who had become an integral part of his life. But recent events made him question her intentions. One evening, as he walked through the bustling marketplace, Kofi overheard a conversation between two women. "Did you hear about Amma? She's so lucky to be with Kofi. Imagine the wealth and luxury she enjoys," one woman exclaimed. "Yes, but do you think she loves him for who he is, or just for his money? And all those his friends that flock around him, do you think they genuinely care for him?" The other replied. The word struck Kofi like a dagger. He had never doubted Amma's love or the friendship of his friends before. But now, uncertainty gunned at him. The words of the woman woke so many questions and doubts in his mind. That night, he sought the counsel of his wise grandmother, Nanaya. "My dear Kofi," Nanaya began, her eyes gleaming with wisdom, "true love reveals itself not in times of abundance, but in times of hardship. If you wish to know Amma's heart and that of your friends, you must test it." Kofi nodded, understanding the depth of her words. A plan began to form in his mind, one that will change everything. The next day, Kofi gathered Amma and his close friends in the grand living room of his mansion. The air was thick with anticipation as he prepared to deliver his shocking news. "I have some unfortunate news," Kofi began, his voice heavy with feigned despair. "Due to some failed investments and unforeseen circumstances, I have lost most of my wealth. I must sell the mansion and move to a modest home." Their eyes all widened in shock, but they quickly marked their surprise with a look of concern. "Oh, Kofi, I'm so sorry," each of them said, trying to show their sympathy. "We will get through this together," Amma said, squeezing his hand as she tries to be of support to him. Kofi forced a smile, grateful for her initial support and that of his friends, but keenly aware that the true test had just begun. Weeks passed, and Kofi's life transformed dramatically. He moved into a small, humble home on the outskirts of Kumasi. His luxurious cars were sold, replaced by an old, worn-out bicycle. He took up menial jobs to make ends meet, a stark contrast to his previous life of opulence. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks turned into months, Amma's visit to Kofi became less frequent, her initial support dwindling. She often complained about the lack of comfort and luxury, her patience wearing thin. "Kofi, I can't live like this," Amma said one evening, frustration evident in her voice. "I miss the life we had." Kofi sighed, feeling the weight of his decision. I understand, Ama, but this is our reality now. As the days turned into weeks, Kofi realized that all his friends no longer associate with him. Even Ama's visit became infrequent, and Kofi began to see the cracks in her facade. The final straw came when Kofi, exhausted from a long day of labor, returned home to find a letter from Ama. It was brief but devastating. Kofi, I can't do this anymore. I need stability and comfort. I've met someone who can provide that. I'm sorry. Kofi sat in silence, the letter trembling in his hands. The truth was painful, but it was also liberating. He now knew where he stood in Ama's heart. Kofi went back to his grandmother, and with a heavy heart, Kofi shared the entire ordeal with Nanaya. She listened intently, offering her support and understanding. Kofi, you have learned a valuable lesson, Nanaya said gently. True love cannot be measured by wealth, but by the strength of one's heart in the face of adversity. Kofi nodded, feeling a sense of closure. He had lost Ama and all his friends, but he gained a profound understanding of love and loyalty. Months passed, and Kofi began to rebuild his life, not as a wealthy man, but as a wiser one. He met new people, formed genuine connections, and slowly his heart healed. One day, while visiting the market, he met Amina, a kind-hearted woman who saw beyond his financial status. They shared stories, laughter, and a deep connection that felt real and unforced. Amma later came back to Kofi, begging for his forgiveness, but she realized that it was already too late for her, as Kofi was set to marry Amina. Some of Kofi's former friends, who were shameless to come back, were rejected by him, as he told them that he does not wish to have anything to do with disloyal people again. Kofi realized that true wealth lay not in material possessions, but in the authenticity of relationship. He had found love again, this time a love that was tested and true. He later got married to Amina, and they both lived happily ever after.